Hi everyone and welcome to NameHero.com. In this video tutorial, I want to talk about reselling our VPS hosting and how to make a really nice ROI off of it, as well as how to set it up inside of your WHMCS. So since we got started here at NameHero, for the last several years, we've had lots of requests to resell our VPS hosting. So at NameHero, we're known for our high-speed cloud and all of our packages that we have on it. We have thousands of resellers from all across the globe, but some resellers don't just want to resell our basic hosting. Their clients need a VPS. So I'm going to show you how to set it up, how to integrate it, and all that stuff. And you'll be able, by the end of this video, you'll be able to add it to your offerings. And you have a lot of flexibility on how you want to price it and how much ROI you want to make. I should note that we're also working on a plugin for WHMCS that will automate this, but due to some recent changes at WHMCS, it's taken a little bit longer than we would like to get it out. So I'm going to show you the way to go about it now. It's kind of the manual way, but it's also a very efficient way. We have a lot of customers doing this, and it sets up quite nicely for them and allows them to make a nice ROI. So anyways, right now I'm on the main page of NameHero.com. I'm going to go ahead and consent to the cookie usage here, and I'm going to head over here to our VPS hosting page so I can talk about our packages. So on our page here, we have 4 different VPSs that we offer standard. We start off with our 2 gigabyte and we go all the way up to the 8 gigabyte. And let's talk about this for a second. Our 2 gigabyte VPS, this is for really developers or startups that are just getting started and not really for production. 2 gigabytes of RAM, since all of our servers come with cPanel and Web Host Manager by default, 2 gigabytes is really not enough to effectively run in a live environment, but we saw the need for developers and startups that were just getting started. They really just needed a testing environment, and they didn't want to spend the money quite yet to go to the 4 gigabyte, but they wanted something that was affordable. And so that's why we came out with the 2 gigabytes VPS. Not really recommended for production, best used for developers, startups, and all that stuff. So you should keep that in mind as you're offering this to your customers, because if you go a lot of places, there's not a lot of companies that offer a 2 gigabyte VPS nowadays. And so again, it's not really used for production, but it's recommended for development. So if you're going to be offering this to your customers, let them know that, especially if they're wanting to use PHP FPM, which is PHP Fast Process Manager, which is now default in cPanel and Web Host Manager. We see a lot of out of memory errors. If you're trying to run that and you're trying to run cPanel and Web Host Manager, you're going to need more memory. So the reason why we offer this, as I said, for that development crowd, and since we are in the cloud, what we see is a lot of startups and developers, they'll start with this. They can configure the server how they want it. They can do their testing. And then the second they get ready to go live, they just automatically scale up to the Hero 4 gigabyte. And since we're on the cloud, it's a very easy process, all handled right inside of our interface. And you can do the same thing. You know, if you buy a VPS for your customer and they need to scale it up, you can do so right inside the NameHero interface, and then you can bill your customer accordingly. So that's one of the main benefits to our cloud VPSs here is they can always be scaled up to the next level without a migration, without having to build a new server or anything like that you may have been used to in the past or from other providers. And all our VPSs are fully dedicated just to you. The RAM is yours, the cores are yours, obviously the bandwidth is yours. You have full root access, so they come standard with cPanel and Web Host Manager. You are free to customize and to add as you best see fit. So VPS gives you a lot of flexibility. I've said before on our YouTube channel here, me personally, I always went with my own VPS or dedicated server for the last 20 years because there's a lot of operating system stuff that I like to customize, kind of being a server nerd that I am. So that's what I've always done for my businesses. I've developed a server, specifically for our needs, and so that might be the case for your customers as well. So it's also important to note that it doesn't stop after the Hero 8 gigabyte. These are just our pre-configured servers that are available right here on the site as well as the interface. If you or your customers need more than 8 gigabytes of RAM, of course we can make that happen, but we do that on a case-by-case basis because our sales team will talk to you and see, what is your goal? What's your objective? Do you just need more disk space, or you need more disk space and RAM? Do you need more CPU cores? And so we can go to really this, excuse me, this sky is the limit But our sales team would like to consult with you to see what you need. And if you're a customer, same thing. If they need more than 8 gigabytes of RAM or more than 120 gigabytes of storage, just reach out to our sales team. They will help you make the transition. It's on all of it. Everything's on our managed cloud, so you can scale right on up. If you need a plain old cloud dedicated server, you can also scale it up to that. Again, no migration or anything is required. I think it takes 2 reboots and maybe about 5 or 6 minutes of downtime while it switches over. It's really quick though and easy, but that's with all of our VPS hosting packages. So what I want to do to get started here is I'm going to start off with our reseller hosting, and I'm going to set up a corporate reseller account with WHMCS, and I'm actually going to install WHMCS so I can show really from start to finish how you would set this up as a reseller completely with WHMCS. So if you already have your stuff set up, you can skip ahead. That's why I like using videos, is you can skip ahead to where you need to go. But I think anyone will find this beneficial, really going from scratch. So just give me a second here to get started, and we'll sign up for this corporate hero package and then take things from there. All right, so I'm going to install or set up our corporate reseller package here. This is our most popular reseller package at NameHero because it includes a complimentary WHMCS license. This is a $15.95 a month value. So really, you get the WHMCS license, and then the hosting's $4 a month, right? I mean, it's $19.77 paid for 2 years for 100 gigabytes of disk space, 2,000 gigabytes of bandwidth, and you can host unlimited clients. So it's a very popular package. Most of our resellers, they start off with this, and then if they need more space or more bandwidth, then they will add a startup or an entrepreneur package. Some of our biggest resellers, they have one corporate package, and then they have 20, 30 startups and entrepreneurs, and they mix and match as they need space. So that's what I'm going to sign up with now, and I'm going to get my reseller site online that I'm going to be using to resell VPSs. So I'm going to go ahead and click here on the corporate reseller. Next, I need to choose the domain I'm going to use. Now, for the corporate reseller package, when you're signing up for this, most of the time, for most everyone watching this, this is going to be the name of your website that you're going to be selling on. So, for example, namehero.com, that's our domain at NameHero. So if I was going to buy reseller hosting for NameHero, that's what I would use. For this example, I'm going to be using resellerhostingus.com, which is an example domain that we use for our tutorials. But your corporate hero package comes with a free domain registration or transfer for the first year. So if your name, if you don't have a name yet, you can register it right here, brand new, and it's going to be free for that first year. It's included with the hosting package. So once again, you're going to be saving about $12.98 right off the bat. If your domain is at another registrar, such as GoDaddy or Namecheap or Bluehost, HostGator, what have you, you can transfer it over to NameHero. I recommend doing this for reseller hosting because you can set up your private name servers. Private name servers come with all of our reseller hosting packages, and we make it extremely easy in our interface to do that, to set those up. And I'm going to show you an example of that. If you want to keep your name at GoDaddy or Namecheap, that's fine, you can, but you have to actually register those private name servers in their interface. And I know some customers that come in, they have a little trouble doing that, and then it's hard for our team to assist because we don't have your Namecheap login, we don't have your GoDaddy login. You can provide it if you wish, but we have to navigate someone else's interface, and it just makes it much easier if you transfer it over to us. So, and it's free for the first year, so why would you not? Even if you have time on your domain at GoDaddy, it only adds to time when you transfer it in. You don't lose any time you've already paid for. So highly recommend doing that. I'm going to use option 3 since I already have my domain in my NameHero account. So I'm going to type in resellerhostingus.com here. I'm going to click on use. Okay, now I'm going to configure everything. Once again, I'm buying the corporate hero package, 100 gigabytes of space, 2,000 gigabytes of bandwidth, unlimited accounts, free WHMCS starter license. I get a dedicated IP. I get a free domain reseller account, auto and free SSL, yes. Private name servers, yes. So at NameHero, we reward customers on longevity. The longer you decide to sign up, the more you save. Now, there's also a special going on for the summer promotion, which brings this down to $19.77 a month. So you're going to save a bunch of money, which that's going to show on our checkout page. So this would be the recurring rate amongst this. So you can see how much you're saving by going for 2 years versus 1 month or versus 6 months or even 12 months. So you definitely save going that route here. And as I said, if you go for 2 years with our current special, your hosting's really $4 a month. So you're going to get tremendous savings here. Drop my site, offsite backups. By default at NameHero, we keep and provide one night's worth of backups for you. So, if when your site's live and on NameHero, if you need the previous night's backup or any files that maybe you lost or something happened, you can recover that. But if you need more than one night's backup, which a lot of people do, especially those that have WHMCS installed, you want to make sure you maybe have 30 backups. With Drop My Site, you can have up to 30 days backups, and you just pay for the space. So for $1.99 a month, you get 5 gigabytes of additional backup space. I recommend this. It might not be for you since we do have complimentary nightly backups, but most of the time I see people that, they don't need a backup till they need it, right? And most of the time when they need it, they need more than 1 day. So in my opinion, it's just best getting this while you're into it. $1.99 a month is pretty cheap, to really have that peace of mind. You can always add this later, but really if you set it up from the beginning, it's just done. The WHMCS license, it is free. You just have to click it here to let the system know that you do want to take advantage of that offer. We continue on. And it's not showing the special because I'm currently logged into my account. So I'm not showing that tremendously big discount that you're going to get. But if you are signing up through our Summer Sizzler promotion as a new customer, use the coupon code Reseller Sizzler to get this package for $19.77 a month. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out the checkout here, and I'm going to resume this video as soon as I've completed it. Okay, now I've completed my order. After you place your order, we have a survey here. At NameHero, we strive for 10 for 10 customer service and satisfaction, so we want to know how we're doing. This also helps others make their decision easier. If you're like me, I like to review every single thing I buy. I can be inside of Walmart or Target or maybe going to a restaurant, and I'm always Googling or looking up products to read what other people say. So we really do appreciate if you would fill this out, and we certainly do appreciate all 5 stars. You just sit here and select the ratings, and after you do the third one, you have the opportunity to share your experience. So if you have 50 characters or so that you'd love to share to the next buyer, we certainly do appreciate that. I personally love reading each and every one of these. And if you're so kind to leave your name and email, this is so we can follow up with you about your rating. This is not for marketing. We won't share or sell your information. This is completely secure, just for following up with your order. And if you don't want to take the survey right now, if you say, no, I don't want to, just click the X. It's not required. We just really like it when that happens. Okay, so now I'm going to head into the client area and set up my reseller package. I'm going to click Cloud Web Hosting. I've got 3 different packages in here because this is my demo account. But if I click on Corporate Hero, I'm going to go to where I can set up my name servers. So if I go down here a little bit, here are the name servers that I'm going to be setting up, my white label name servers. So the first thing I need to do is register these. Once again, if your domain's at Namecheap or if it's at GoDaddy, you have to go to their interface to register them. That's why I recommend transferring it into us, because it makes it simpler, or registering your domain with us in the first place. I've actually got my domain already in my account, so I'm going to hover domains, click my domains. I'm going to click on resellerhostingus.com. Once I get here, I'm going to go down to private name servers under manage, and this is where I'm going to register them. So first thing is I need this IP address. So NS1, I need the IP. I'll go back here. I'm now going to type in the NS1, and I will paste the IP address. Click Save Changes. I'll go back over here and grab the second one, copy it, and this is going to be for NS2, so I'll type in NS2 and paste this in here, save changes. Okay, now my name servers have been registered. This is a very important step. We see people that don't do this and you have a lot of problems. And again, this is why I recommend registering or transferring your name to us, because we make this very simple. You click on name servers, and now we want to change Reseller Hosting US to use those private name servers. So we're going to use ns1.resellerhostingus.com and ns2.resellerhostingus.com. and click change. Now, if you do register your domain with us, our order processing team actually goes through and makes sure this is done correctly, or sometimes they'll even do it for you. They make sure each new order that comes into NameHero, they make sure that everything is working so you don't have to guess. So kind of rest assured that's how you do it, but our team's always going to be checking up on that. Okay, now I need to make sure these are set up correctly in Web Host Manager. So I'm going to click Log into WHM. Web Host Manager, this is your central control panel for when all your customers start signing up. This is where you can manage your customers and where you set them up with accounts. But this is also where you set up those name servers. So under Basic Web Host Manager Setup, you can see that your private name servers have already been added, but we have to add their DNS records. So we're going to scroll down here to the bottom and click on Edit DNS Zone right here, Edit DNS Zone. We're going to click on resellerhostingus.com, and we want to change, whoops, I'm using a different keyboard here today. We want to change where it says ns37.namehero or whatever this may say to reseller hosting US. I'm going to change this one, and we're going to change this one to NS2. And it's also important that we add the A records. So NS1, NS2. These are A records for the IPs. Go back over here, grab our IP1, paste it in here, grab our IP2. Whoops. And paste it in here. So again, our order processing team will check this for you, but that is how you set it up. If you're like me and are getting a hurry and want to do it yourself, that's how it's done. Okay, so now we have set up our reseller site. I want to install WHMCS because that's what I'm going to be using to resell my VPSs here. So I'm going to go into cPanel, and if I go down here to the bottom, I'm going to scroll over under Auto Installer and look for WHMCS, and you can see it pops up here in just a second. So we click it, and now we want to install it. So the first thing is I want to use HTTPS. Now, it takes a little bit for this to generate once you sign up, so it might not be generated. That's why you're seeing this. So just give it some time. You can force run this if you want to inside of cPanel. I've got some guides on our YouTube channel on how to do that. But since it's not generated, we'll just go off www and we can add that later. Reseller Hosting US is the domain. In directory. Now, when someone goes to resellerhostingus.com, I want them to see the WHMCS install immediately because that's going to be my forward-facing website to where the customers are going to sign up on. If some people, you might want to install this in a subdirectory. Maybe you have WordPress set up as your root site and you want your billing system to be in a subdirectory. That's why this is here. So for this example, this would set it up in resellerhostingus.com/WHMCS. I just want it on the root. And you could change this maybe to billing or customers, but I want it blank because I want it as soon as someone goes to my site, I want them to see my forward-facing store. Data directory, leave that default. The cron job, leave it default. You can edit this stuff later, but this is your company name. This is the directory where your admin stuff's going to be installed in. I recommend changing this, not admin. Make it something that's hard to guess so that people can't find your admin directory. This is one step of security of many that you should do, but we're just going to call ours Resell 123. And, use a combination of letters and numbers, but you cannot use special characters in this. If you use a special character, it's going to mess things up. So use only letters and numbers. Okay, company email. Make sure you have access to this email because this is where your notices are going to be sent from. So if someone replies back, it's going to use that. Valid license key. Let's go back to our main page here and click on add-ons under overview. And we need this license key because this license key is what authorizes WHMCS. Remember, it comes free at NameHero. So we're just going to paste that in here. Our account username, admin and pass, is a very bad idea. You want to use something that's strong. So in a combination of letters and numbers, I'm going to use rgray1. Make this stuff hard to guess, and I'm putting it in a separate window over here so I can write it down. Password, just click this lock, and it makes a nice strong password. Copy and paste this over to a notepad document so you can remember it because a lot of people seem to forget this. But you want to make this strong. Don't use a weak password. Your first and last name. This is your main admin account, so you can use your first name or last name or system administrator, what have you. But the most important thing here is your admin email because in case you do forget this password, this is going to allow you to be able to reset it. So use a valid email address here. I see very often people won't be sure what email address they used here and they need to reset their password and they're kind of lost. So make sure you're using a valid email. You can always change this later too. Maybe you're going to set up different emails for your business, but use an email address that works right now, even if it's not on our servers. That's fine. Gmail, Hotmail, what have you would work here. Admin language, I speak English. Site language, I speak English as well. There's some advanced options, but I'm not going to get into confusing you there with those. I'm just going to click install because we want to get WHMCS online. So now it's automatically installing WHMCS with all the stuff that we defined. You can see it was installed successfully. I just updated my name server, so let's see if it's propagated, and it has. So now you can see when someone goes to resellerhostingus.com, they see WHMCS. They're ready. This ready to start taking orders after I configure it. If I want to buy a domain, I still have to configure my domain, but it's ready. The site is ready. If I want to order hosting, it can be done. But this is why I wanted it in the root directory. I wanted as soon as someone goes to Reseller Hosting US, they see this page. So that's how I wanted it. If you want to do a subdirectory, then you can. Now, if I go back in here, I can go to my admin URL. This is where I'm actually going to set up all my packages and configure WHMCS. And remember, this is only you that go to this directory. Your customers never see the back end. So we're going to use that username and password that we just set up. So in my case was rgray1 and that real strong password. I'm going to click login. Okay, now I've got a license agreement. So read through this if you have not already. I have a million times, but read through it, print it out, do what you got to do, but I agree to it. And this brings you into WHMCS. So they have their setup wizard. If this is your first time installing and setting up WHMCS, I recommend going through this. I've got several video tutorials that talks about this. So if you go to namehero.com/startup, look at our Reseller Hosting 101 course. We have plenty of videos on YouTube that go through this. But I definitely do recommend going through this step by step and enabling the payments you're going to accept and all that. For this today's example, I'm going to enable just PayPal. And it needs an email address, so I'm just going to use admin@resellerhostingus.com. But I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time in this right now. It gives you the ability to set up your Enum domain reseller account. I personally like Reseller Club now. Enum kind of sucks nowadays. I don't know why, but their customer service is horrible. If you call the number to talk to them, even me, and we've got thousands of domains with them. We've got thousands of resellers under them, and they just treat us, really horribly. I don't know what's going on over at Two Cows, but it must not be too good, or maybe they're making so much money they just don't care about growth. I don't know. So I'm not going to enable them. I will enable, if I wanted to sell domains on this, I would enable Reseller Club because they are a lot better than Enum. This is for our reseller hosting account that we just created. This allows you to connect the reseller account that you just had. So let me show you how to do that just right quick. If I need to get my welcome email, so I'm going to click email history and reseller account information. This has got all my passwords and stuff that I need to make this account work and to enter all the information. So I'm just going to bring it over to another window and enter it in here. So my server name is, and actually I can show you this here. My server name is going to be right here on my package. If you have multiple packages, then you have multiple server names, but my server name is here, tim.securewebhosting.net. That is completely white labeled, so your customers won't ever see NameHero. So I'm going to enter that. And then if I look at my welcome email, I've got a username and password. So that's what I'm going to enter from that welcome email. And mine happens to be resellee1, and my password is there. Click verify connection. And then it enters the rest of the stuff for me as soon as it verifies the connection. So next. All right, so now we have WHMCS installed and we have the reseller account connected. Now it's warning us that we need an SSL certificate. Remember, if you just put your account online, it might not be active yet. But let's go check real quick. If I click login to cPanel, I can go to SSL and you'll see SSL TSL status. We're looking for a green lock and I don't have it yet. So let's click this, click run auto SSL. And this takes just a little bit to run. And again, if you just registered everything, it might take up to 24 hours for this to run. But we're gonna go ahead and try to force run it. So I'm just gonna let this run in the background while we continue to configure everything for our VPS. So we're looking here, we're getting this error and we can fix that, but we're just gonna let this run and then we will go through making the site secure because that is important. Okay, so now let's go look at our VPS packages. VPS. These are what we want to offer to our customers, but as a reseller, so that we don't want them to see NameHero. So I'm going to show you an example of how to set up a 4 gigabyte server. So in WHMCS, I'm going to set up products and services, products and services. So I want to add a group called VPS hosting. group, VPS hosting. I can add a headline, a tagline, all that stuff. So if you'd like, go ahead. You can use the recommended, or you don't have to put anything in. This is what the order form looks like, the standard, the premium. So it kind of allows you to customize it, without being a web designer or anything. I'm just going to leave it the standard. Gateways, I set up PayPal. You might have a credit card. You might allow your customers to mail it in. Don't really recommend that unless you're local, but it's up to you. Click Save Changes. Now I've created my group. Now I need to add a product in the group. So create new product. My product is going to be 4 gigabyte VPS. So that's just what I'm going to call it. And you can call the product whatever you would like. Okay, so now this is going to be a dedicated /VPS server, and it's in our VPS hosting group. I called it the 4 gigabyte VPS, and the description. So if I go over here to NameHero, I can use a lot of this for my description. So I can type in, let me pull this around here. I can type in 60 gigabytes SSD RAID 10 storage. I can enter BR for break rule. I can use it like this. Let's go back over here. It comes with 4 gigabytes of RAM. So 4 gigabytes RAM. Enter my break rule, and that's so it goes on a different line. Go back over here, 2 CPU cores, break rule. Let's go back again. 2 dedicated IPs, break rule. Free SSL, free cPanel, so free auto SSL, free cPanel. And see if there's anything else we want to add. We just say fully managed. So fully managed. Okay, so feel free to edit this however you would like, but I just like to add a little bit about the actual specs the customer will be ordering. Welcome email. This is going to be for a dedicated or VPS server. Tick the show domain registration options. So if you want to allow the customer to be able to register a domain, you can put that on there. Stock control, if you want to limit the number of these that you can order, you can say maybe you have 5 in stock. And I'm going to show you can order these from NameHero once the order comes into you, so you don't have to float any cash. That's what I recommend doing. Some of our larger resellers that get a lot of VPS orders, they like to pre-order like 5 servers and have them on standby so they're already ready. So if that was the case, you might want to enable this. But most people, they just like to have it on their site, and then when someone buys it, then they set it up. Apply tax, I'm not going to do that. If you want to make it featured, hidden, or retired, don't want to do any of that. Okay, now the most important one's the pricing. So right now it says free. Most of you is going to select recurring. So if we go to NameHero, we can look at the pricing. So $37.46, this is the first year price if you pay for a year with our current promotion. So this is what your cost is. And the good thing about our resellers can use the coupons on as many servers as they want. It's not just limited to one server. So if you want to pay monthly, though, it's $49.95 is going to be your price. So you'd have to price it higher than that. What I recommend doing is buying the server for a year, and then you're able to make a higher ROI. So using this coupon code, you're going to be able to save, and your cost is $37.46 a month. So if we set this up, maybe we'd want the monthly pricing to be let's just say $49.95 a month. So if you're paying $37, then your profit's going to be about $12. If you want to make it higher, you can. If you want to go to $59, $69, whatever, you can up the price to whatever you feel like your customers will pay, and then the rest is all profit. So after you pay for the server, everything else is the gravy on top, right? So you can set this to whatever you see fits your needs. So $59.95, and that's not too expensive. If you go look at some of the competitors out there, they charge even more than that for a 4 gigabyte server. So let's just say that's a good price. You can leave all this other stuff default and click Save Changes. Okay, so now we can go to module settings. Again, we do not have a module for this right now, so I'm not going to enter a module at this time. So I'm just going to leave it like that. You can do like stuff like auto release and create actions. So this is interesting because you can actually add a to-do list item. So let's do that. Let's put auto release. So auto release, as soon as someone orders this, it's going to either create a ticket for your team to do something or a to-do list item. So you actually have it create a ticket to track the provisioning name for your customer, or you can add a to-do just so your staff can make the server itself. So let's just add it to do. Unsuspend item. Again, if it needs to be unsuspended, you could add the to-do since it's not automated. So we'll just do that. Renew action. When they renew, we're going to do nothing. Suspend action, add to-do. Terminate action, add to-do. Support department. This would be the department for the actual ticket if you were doing that. So I'm just going to do none because we're not doing that. So as soon as the order is placed, it's just click automatically set up the product, and this means it's going to automatically add a to-do list item. So save changes. Custom fields if you want to add stuff, which you need to. So let's go back over here and look. Okay, well, look, now we're at secure, so we'll talk about that in a second. But let's look here. There's some extra fields that you need. So first off, we already said they need to have a domain. So let's go ahead and let's just type in resellerhostingus.com, and I want to show you the options. So the first thing is for you to make the order at NameHero, you need a host name. So we're going to go over here and we need to put host name. Text box. And if you go over here, you can see an example, servername.yourdomain.com. So you can put this in here. Something like this to explain to the customer what they put. It's a required field. Show it on order form. Show it on the invoice. Save changes. So host name is one you need. NS prefix, most of the time it's pretty standard to use NS1 and NS2, so you really don't have to do that if you don't want. Root password, this is another one that you probably need. So root password. You can select here, it's a password. And description. You can add regex if you would like to make sure they only enter a strong one. If you're not familiar with regex, leave it blank. But you can Google a regex generator, regular expression generator, and set that up if you want. It's a required field. Show it on order form. Don't want it on the invoice, but we want the display behind the host name. So click Save Changes. All right, what else do we need? So NS1 and NS2, we're just going to assume they want NS1 and NS2 because most people do. If you want to give your customer that option, feel free. These are configurable options. Some customers like to offer these as upsells. So most people, they just leave it standard Apache and they put that in their description. So in our description here, you might want to put Apache web server. So we could put Apache web server. We could add this here, and just that's kind of standard. So a lot of people like to define that on their actual page there. And then if they want to add something else, if they want to add a different one like Lightspeed, they could add that as an upsell. Cloudflare, that's another perfect opportunity to add an upsell. So I'm not going to do that. Same with malware scanning. Template, this is all going to be CentOS. That's what comes with it. We still allow CentOS 6, but that's soon going to be depreciated. So CentOS 7 is again pretty standard. And you can also add that to your product description, near Apache, that it's a CentOS server, Linux. We do not offer Windows VPS at this time. Dedicated IPs, again, it comes with 2, and we already put that in our description. Most of your customers don't need more than that, but again, that's another opportunity for an upsell. 5 terabytes of bandwidth, that's most of the time plenty. Incoming bandwidth at NameHero is free, so that's a benefit you can add to your page is all the incoming bandwidth is free. So you can just leave it at 5 terabytes. These are monthly fees if you want to go up for more outgoing bandwidth. Very rarely do we see anyone go over 5 terabytes, so I think that's going to be plenty. Backup, this is interesting if your customer might want to add backup here. You would need to do that with configurable options or an upsell. So you could add that as an add-on or a configurable option, or you can maybe put it in your price, because if you do daily backups, 1 day is $8.20 a month, 2 days is $14.60 a month. So it can kind of go up from there. So you can add that into your offering or as an upsell. It's whatever you would like to have. WHMCS license is another add-on. But really, these are all the fields that you need that are going to be required for your customer to fill out. The host name and the root password. Okay, so now if we go to our hosting site, which we'll go back over here, Reseller Hosting US, order hosting, you can see 4 gigabyte VPS, 60 gigabytes of storage, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 2 CPU cores. So now when your customers are looking at your site, they can order a VPS. So they can click order now. So let's, for example, they want to order one. they have the opportunity to register a new domain. Now, it's important to note I haven't fully configured my domain registrar inside WHMCS, so this would not work at this time. Go through my other setup and training videos if you'd like to set up your domain registrar. Same with transferring. These two functions will not work until you set that up. So I'm just going to use option 3, that I'll update my domain. So we're just going to use resellerhostingus.com. Click use. Okay, so now we have the billing cycle. Now we have the host name where they can enter it. So let's just say vps1.resellerhostingus.com. This would be the root password, and you'd want to make sure they make this strong, because if it's not strong on the NameHero end, it won't provision correctly. So I'm just going to go in my text document and make a strong one, copy it, paste it in here. NS prefix, so we're going to use NS1, and this is default, by the way. This was added to it automatically, so NS1 and NS2 is pretty standard. It's actually asking the host name. So this is actually in WHMCS already, so we do not have to have these fields. I'm sorry. WHMCS has added these for us, so how kind of them. You never know what you're going to find in a recent update. So I deleted those custom fields. You do not have to do that. vpshosting1.resellerhostingus.com, that root password, and NS1 and NS2. That is so cool they've added that. NS2. Okay, so now your customer can complete the order. So I'm going to create a promo code to get rid of this here so I can show you how this works. So I'm going to go into Setup, Products and Services, or actually right here, Promotions. We can make one, create a new promotion, 100% off, enable it for VPS, and promotion code. Well, hold on, let's generate a code, and it's a percentage, 100%. And monthly, save. So now if we go to our shopping cart, we can use that, validate the code, $0 is due, check out. So now I need to enter some information to create my account. So I'm going to enter Ryan Gray. We'll just use my information here. Sorry, I'm not giving out my phone number in this video, but it would blow it up. I'm going to enter and we enter the state, United States, account security, my password. Again, I'm going to use a strong password here. I copy this, paste it, and I'm going to use PayPal. Additional notes, and join the mailing list you want to or don't to complete order. Okay, so now your customer has made the order. If they continue to client area and go to services, they can see that they can see their service here, but again, it's not active yet because you have to provision it. So once they do that, since we told it to create a to-do item, let's go back into here. You're going to go down here, and we should see a to-do item. Service provision under to-do. So this means you need to set up a VPS. So you can go in your orders here, and you can see that Mr. Gray here has bought a VPS from you. So now you need to order this on NameHero's end to create it for your customer. So let's go back to NameHero. Let's go over here to where this is set up. So I need to enter the host name, and this is for your customer, right? You're ordering it on their behalf. They never see NameHero. Paste, and you use the information they provided. So NS1, NS2. It's root password. Let's grab the root password, which you can see here. Copy it. Paste it here. NS prefix, NS1, NS2. Apache. Cloudflare's disabled because remember we didn't add any add-ons. Basic CentOS. They did not do Cloudflare because we didn't add that. 2 IPs, 5 terabytes. We did not do a backup. Now that's something that you can negotiate in your prices or with your customer. Same with WHMCS. Continue. Okay, so you can see here's where you save. If you purchase the server at a year for $449, you're going to be actually paying the let's pull it back up here. You're actually going to be paying $37.46 while your customer is paying you $59.95. So they're paying you $60, you got it for $37. So your margin is pretty high on this, and the rest that's all profit. Now the good thing is too, you say, well, Ryan, what if my customer cancels before I make up all this ROI? If they do, you can always resell the VPS to someone else, meaning that you can cancel it NameHero and we can apply the balance you've already paid. So you're not going to lose any money. If they only go for two or 3 months, what you've already paid, well, it's outside the 30-day money-back guarantee. However, you can still apply that to a new server when you have another customer order. So keep that in mind. That's what I recommend doing. Paying for a year. If your customer does not stay until you break the even on it, you can apply that to the next customer that comes along. Definitely recommend doing that. You can also apply it to your regular reseller invoice. Okay, so let's go back to NameHero. Let me check this out, and once I get it online, I'll show you the rest of the setup. All right, once the order is placed, you have our survey again. And again, you can hit the X if you don't want to. And now I'm going to go to the client area, and I want to navigate to that VPS, which is right here. This takes just a couple minutes to build. So if you go down here and see the status, if this status still shows building, give it about 10 minutes and then it'll be finished. What you want is you want it to see status running. That's when you know the VPS is online and ready to be delivered to your customer. So again, after a successful order, it takes about 5-10 minutes just for everything to build and come online. But once it is, it will show running. So now if I go back into WHMCS, I'm back here still at this pending order screen. So you can see I placed the test order. And if I click VPS server, I can enter the dedicated IP address. So I can go over here and enter this. This is going to be the dedicated IP address. I can click paste in here. The username, if I go over here, if I click WHM, if I click in my login credentials here is the username is going to be root for web host manager. So I'm just going to copy that, go back here, and I can just put that in here. Or I can just call it root. Either way you want to do it. You can put use root or just put root. Assigned IPs, I could put the other IP in there if I wanted to or not, and just click save. All right, and so now the product has been delivered to the customer. If I go in emails, let's see what they have here. New dedicated server information. The IP address has not been sent because they don't have it yet. So now the product has been set up, and if I log in as my customer, they can now see services, my services, their VPS. They can see it inside of here. They can see their host name, IP address, and the name servers. And now you can edit the email template to also give them the web host manager URL. So if you'd like to, you could either manually email this or you could set it up automated if you want, but you can send them this URL to access web host manager. You just provide this to them as well as cPanel. But again, the cPanel doesn't create until they actually create it inside a web host manager. So that's how it's done. That's how it is delivered to them. Right inside of here, where did I go back into here? If I go back to my admin area here. So now I could go ahead and approve this order. It's now been set up to them and it's ready to go. Now, one thing you're going to have to remind their customer is they have to add the A record for their domain. And if their domain's with you, you can do this for them. So this resolves. But if not, they have to use that IP address. So that's why it's important to give them the dedicated IP address to their server so they can use that to access Web Host Manager. So for example, it's here, no security certificate yet. So if they don't want to wait to add that A record, you could just provide them with the IP address, which is here, and they could go to Web Host Manager that way. So that's how they can begin accessing it and getting stuff rocking and rolling. But that's how you resell it. Now, after you accept this order, it's going to continue to automatically bill it. I entered the 00 for the demonstration purposes, but if this is a real customer, you'd be getting billed the $59.95, and everything is done inside your own interface. They just see this. They don't see the NameHero side, so you'll see the server inside of your account. So if you need to manage anything inside of here for them, you can. If they cancel, if you need to cancel it, you can request it here. You also have the opportunity or the ability, I guess I should say, to start it, to shut it down, to reboot it, to enable any of the extra features inside of here so that you see this on your side. They don't, but they have the full ability to manage the VPS here on their side. And especially they just have to set up their A record for their domain, which I recommend probably setting up an email template inside of cPanel. You can see they just have a cPanel or web host WHMCS has a default email. that they send here, but you can see it did not fill in the IP because it did not have it at that time. And they put XXX in here, so you might want to edit the template to accordingly for this customer. And so I don't really like how WHMCS does that. They just put XXX in there because your customer is going to want to know what's up with that. So I'd recommend editing that template to fit your specific customer. But that's how it's done. Everything is white labeled. You can charge what you want, and you can order as many of these as you would like from us here at NameHero, and you can see everything right inside of your services. Here's the corporate hero, here's the VPS, and again, everything is white labeled. Your customer never sees us, and anytime they have a question, they can ask you. If you need help with a ticket, you can always ask us. We're always here. But everything is very much inside of your interface and completely white labeled. As I said, we're working on a plugin that will automate some of this, which meaning that when your customer places the order, you'll automatically create it inside of your NameHero account, but we're just not quite there yet. But I did want to get a video out to show you the manual way and the way that a lot of our customers are doing it. And there's other ways you can do it as well. You can pre-set up a couple of these servers and have them, already ready if you don't want them to provision. But I know a lot of our resellers, they don't like to tie up cash and stuff that's not sold. So, you can set it up to make a to-do, as I did in the example, where you can even set it up to create a ticket to where they kind of monitor the process as well of the creation of the server. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to put this on YouTube. I'm also going to type up something and put it on the blog that explains this in a step-by-step fashion, so you can have many different options. But that's how you resell our VPSs here at NameHero, the manual way. I love WHMCS because it automates all this. You don't have to worry about billing them each and every month. If you need help suspending it, if they don't pay 1 month, let us know and we'll walk you through, the shutdown process. As you saw, it's inside of our interface, fairly easy to do by going to here and shutting down a server. If someone hasn't paid, you just go here and click shut down. But if you want our help during that process, we'd be more than willing to help you shut it down or to suspend them, so to speak. So again, let us know, but that's how you resell. Tons of ROI opportunities here at NameHero. Again, I recommend buying them for at least a year because you're going to get the best price. It's going to allow you to be very competitive. And then if your customer cancels, you can always apply that remaining balance to your account at NameHero. So let us know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching and using NameHero.com.